Hello everybody, welcome to this week's installment of Layman's View, where we review a week that was. This is PRS, I'm Ntobeko Khuluse. Let us have a look what other stories were trending this week besides Pastor Enigma. Pastor Enigma took social media by storm, telling people that they'll be going to hell for everything that they do. Whether you play soccer, you go to the gym, ukunde kanjani ekhanda, usonta emaromeni, ufakazi kaJehova, usonta wimnazaretha, konke uthi zothi ziyesihogweni. Uthi empeleni abasungule lawo masonto basesihogweni sikhuluma njengamanje. So I don't want to go there. I really don't want to go there, but that was one of the biggest stories of this week. Took social media by storm, but I'll tell you what stood out for me. Which stories caught my attention? Let's talk about the story that shook me to the core when I woke up yesterday morning. I found out that former KZN Premier, former Deputy Chairperson of the ANC in KZN, Willies Mchunu, has resigned from the ANC. I could not believe my eyes when I saw that. I mean, there are people that you would expect would leave the party, and Willies Mchunu is not one of those people. Yes, I know that he is close to the former president Jacob Zuma, but I thought his loyalty to the ANC is much stronger than his closeness to the former president, Jacob Zuma. He has left the ANC and he has not announced that he's joining the MK party. But many people are speculating that he will be announcing that he is joining the MK party. I don't know what you think about that, but he has not made that official announcement that he is now joining the MK party. What we do know though is that he has left the ANC. So Willies Mchunu, who is a long-standing member and leader of the ANC in many positions, including in government here in the province, is no longer with the ANC. The reasons he gave for leaving the ANC, wait for it, is the GNU. He says he's not happy with the GNU, but more than that is the attacks that he got when he expressed his views about the GNU. We all know the GNU, ukuhlangana noma ukusebenzisana kwe-DA, namanye ama-political parties afana ne-IFP, FF+, Patriotic Alliance, Gates Mackenzie, and a whole lot of other parties. They make up 10 parties in total. So Willies Mchunu, that's one of the main reasons adale ukuthi ashiye ANC. But also even the trajectory that the ANC has taken. He says the direction of the ANC, akusayona le ANC yena ayaziyo as a leader of the ANC or a member of the ANC. So he has decided to leave the party. I could not believe my eyes when I read the story. I really could not believe my eyes. What I found to be interesting about Willies Mchunu leaving is the different reaction from leaders of the ANC. I saw a reaction by Babymama, who is the secretary of the ANC in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, where Babymama was accepting basically a resignation ka Willies Mchunu. Also just saying, the ANC is a voluntary organization, and he respected a decision ka Willies Mchunu yokuhamba kwi-ANC noma yokushiya ANC. He went on to remind Willies Mchunu ukuthi i-ANC ayiqala ukusebenzisana nama-political parties abona izinto ngendlela ehlukile ne-ANC. Wamkhumbuza ukuthi i-ANC ike yaba ku-GNU ne-National Party ngenkathi former president the late Nelson Mandela engena kwipower ngo-1994. So there was the reaction ya secretary we-ANC la kwi-province yase-KZN uBheki Mtolo. But i-reaction kaMusa Nciki secretary we-ANC kwi-region yaseThekwini was completely different. I watched his interview on the SABC where uMusa Nciki ethi yena akayi-accept i-resignation ya Willies Mchunu. Accept okwamanje they will engage Willies Mchunu and try to persuade him. He said Willies Mchunu is a great leader with great wisdom. Uthi bebaseyinkingeni bebeya kuyena uWillies Mchunu beyoncela noma beyokreza kogwansile. So njengamanje njengoba nje sehambile uWillies Mchunu bona as ama leaders ANC kwi-region and KwaZulu Natal balahlekelwe kakhulu. But even ANC, overall, in nationwide. So those were the words of Musa Nciki, secretary we ANC kwi-region yaseThekwini. I also saw a reaction by the former leader of ANC Youth League, who's still in the ANC, and I believe he's now working for the municipality and also still in the region of eThekwini. This is Ntobeko Sabelo. I'll quote Ntobekolo's post that I saw on Facebook, saying, "Personally, I'm very hurt. I cannot simply just accept it hopelessly. I think an urgent intervention is required by senior leaders of the ANC, a delegation of leaders such as Busisiwe Mkhwebane, Senzo Mchunu, Zweli Mkhize, Michael Mabuyakhulu, Blade Nzimande, Peggy Nkonyeni, Weziwe Thusi, Sipho Cabashe, to mention a few. This will be a huge loss and cannot simply be ignored. God save the ANC." So my understanding of this post by Ntobeko is that he's calling these ANC leaders that they should be sent to have a sit down with Willies Mchunu to convince him or persuade him to stay with the ANC. This wouldn't be anything new. You would remember that a stalwart of the ANC, Mavuso Msimang, once resigned from the ANC and he was persuaded to retract his resignation, which he did, and he is still the member of the ANC. So it would be interesting if that would yield some results, but also the contradictions in terms of reactions of ANC leaders in the province. If you look at what Ntobeko said, saying let's persuade him, agreeing with Musa Nciki, who's saying I'm not accepting the resignation, but someone that serves the ANC at the highest level in the province, which is Bheki Mtolo, who is also a secretary here in the province, saying I accept the resignation, saying ANC is a voluntary organization, so he respects the decision that has been taken by uMacingwane, Willies Mchunu, who is a respected leader. So speculation is rife right now. Baningi abasola ukuthi uWillies Mchunu will be joining the MK party. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant. Nginakho ukuthi mhlambe uMacingwane usefuna ukuyiphumulela nje ayihlalele ekhaya azidlalisela abazukulu mawukuthi unabona nezingane zakhe ayihlalela ayikhulisela izingane ekhaya abe nomama wasekhaya. Kodwa ke angazi, what do you think? Do you think uMacingwane Willies Mchunu will soon be announcing that he is now joining the MK party? Or maybe not really? This comes mainly because Willies Mchunu has a very close relationship, or has had a close relationship with former President Jacob Zuma for a very long time. So he has been seen as an ally to the former President Jacob Zuma. But we can't also ignore that he has remained a loyal member of the ANC for a very long time. So it will come as a surprise should he decide, to join the MK party. As much as it was a surprise that he is now leaving the ANC. I don't know what you make of that, but I would love to know. So please go in the comment section and let me know what you think about the decision of Willies Mchunu to leave the ANC. And do you think he will soon be announcing that he is joining the MK party? Yep, that is very interesting. I'd love to know. Let's look at another story, a very sad story that happened this past weekend, where 18 people were killed in Lusikisiki shooting. 18 bashonile eLusikisiki in the Eastern Cape. Kungene nje amadoda noma abantu bavulela ngenhlamvu kwashona abantu about 18. That is very sad. Of those 18 people, 15 of them were women, and 3 were men. The youngest of the victims was a 14-year-old boy. This is a sad story. I saw Minister of Police, Senzo Mkhunu, ethi ababona abantu ababulalela abantu about 18. Nami ngiyavumelana no Macingwane. They can't be people. There's no human being who can do this to other human beings. 18 people, all at one go. I'm not saying it's better to kill one person, but 18 people, 18, 1-8, all at one go. What are we? What are we? What has this world come to? That's a massacre. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. What makes this story even more sad is that these 18 people were related one way or the other. So can you imagine one family related, 18 people are now being buried or will soon be buried. I know that there's a memorial service that will be happening actually tomorrow on a Sunday, and funerals will be happening next weekend on the 12th and the 13th of October. So may their souls rest in peace, all the 18 people that has sadly passed in this heartless, gruesome murder that just cannot be explained. And I really hope the police will soon make some arrests, because until now, we haven't seen any arrests. What we do know, though, is that there's one person that is being questioned that is called a person of interest. So I really, really hope that police will soon make some arrests, because this can't be. It cannot be. Because if this continues, it simply means it is true that we are a banana republic. So let's hope that amaphoyisa kaSenzo Mkhunu azokwenza umsebenzi akwazi ukubamba lezi gebengu ezenzele ukukhohlakala nesihluku esingaka sokubulala abantu about 18 eLusikisiki in the Eastern Cape. I'm going to look at another story that stood out for me this week, where MK party is seeking to prevent EJSC, known as Judicial Service Commission, to have the interviews next week, because Judge Hlophe, or former judge, but now Dr. Hlophe, has been interdicted to participate in the JSE until his matter has been heard by a court of law. So MK party is not agreeing with this. MK party is saying before this can happen, or rather before JSE sits, kumele qala i-court izwe i-decide ngodaba luka Dr. John Hlophe, who is the leader of MK party in parliament. So it is very interesting. It's a very interesting story. So we'll wait to see ukuthi ngabe ubani ozogcina ephumelele la phakathi kwe-DA ekuyiyona ethathe i-MK, or rather ethathe iparliament yalise enkantolo yathi iparliamente alulandelanga umthetho ukuthi lithumele i-MK leader uDr John Hlophe. Kanti i-MK yona ithi uDr John Hlophe njengoba nje equalify ukuba i-member of iparliament angaseva nanoma ikephi lana iparliament elimthuma khona, and yona i-MK as i-official opposition isimqokile uJohn Hlophe ukuthi ahamba yoyimela ku-JSC. Very interesting. So we'll wait and see. I-DA argued ukuthi uma ngabe kuwukuthi kuyahlehliswa ukwenza ama-interviews by i-JSC ngomhla ka-7 kuya kumhla ka-16 October, lapho kukhona kuzobe interviewer ama-candidates that are about 50 for different judges vacancies that are opened in the country. Ithi i-DA makuthi lokho kuyavunyelwa kuzo result in a wastage of 3 million rands. Uma ngabe ukuthi i-MK iyavunyelwa ukuthi i-interdict ukuhlala kwe-JSE. So we'll wait and see where that story takes us. But I would like to link this story that I just spoke about now with the next story. Lapho khona former public protector uThuli Madonsela, Busisiwe Mkhwebane. Yes, Thuli Madonsela is also former public protector, but in this case, I'm talking about Busisiwe Mkhwebane, or advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane. Noma naye uluze icala yena kwi-Supreme Court of Appeal. And I'll tell you why I'm linking these two stories. Uluze icala kwi-Supreme Court of Appeal, where her case was struck off the roll. Lapho khona advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane ebekhala ngokuthi ama proceedings impeachwa kwakhe akhambanga ngendlela njengoba nje uchairperson uthi waye bias, bese futhi no husband kaMazona kuyena owakhala ngoBusisiwe Mkhwebane ebehleli part of this commission, uthi bobabili bekungamele ngabe baba part of i-commission lena yagcina idecidile ukuthi uBusisiwe Mkhwebane akekho fit to be public protector, and she was impeached as a result of that. Because of that judgment that happened in the Western Cape High Court, or rather in the Supreme Court of Appeals, advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane went on Twitter and said ukuhlupheka kwakhe noma ngithi persecution yakhe has been predominantly led by people of Indian descent. Just to quote what Busisiwe Mkhwebane said on Twitter, she said these individuals include Pravin Gordhan, Bawa, who's the evidence leader, Adhikari, chief legal advisor of Parliament, Hassan Ibrahim, who said so-called aspect witness. That's what Busisiwe Mkhwebane called Hassan. Then Ivan Pillay, who's a witness, Fatima Ibrahim, who's a legal advisor of Parliament, Judge Punan's, and then she went on to say, Judge Punan's attitude further underscores the challenges and biases I have faced in my quest for justice. That's the tweet of the former public protector, who's now an EFF MP, Busisiwe Mkhwebane. So people went on Twitter, were unhappy. A lot of people were unhappy. Some agreed with the former public protector, but others were not happy with that. We're not happy with that because they found it to be rather inciting violence, and probably not necessarily inciting violence, but singling out a race, saying this one race is the reason why I'm suffering. And some people thought that was rather distasteful. So I don't know what you think. Muloto Mutapo, who's the spokesperson of Parliament, said they note this with dismay and called them unfounded utterances by Mkhwebane, which seeks to impugn the integrity of Parliament staff members, particularly the chief a parliamentary legal advisor, as well as Section 194 committee evidence leader. So you can see that the spokesperson of Parliament there, Moloto Muthapo, was not happy at all with what the former public protector has done. So I don't know what your thoughts are, but I would really love to know what you think of what the former public protector, Busisiwe Mkhwebane, has said on Twitter. But worth noting, I watched an interview yesterday of former public protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane on the SAPC, and she did apologize for that because she said she understands that some might have seen that, as her singling out people of one race. So yeah, she did back down and said she apologizes for those utterances. So what are your thoughts? Please feel free to go ahead and share your thoughts on that one. As I said, I'd like to link these two stories. What did I mean by that? So you look at this case of Dr. John Hlophe, and you look at Busisiwe Mkhwebane. I can add other cases looking at the likes of former President Jacob Zuma. Then, if you compare those cases with maybe cases of the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, maybe it's just me, and I'd like you guys to tell me if maybe I'm coming up with some crazy conspiracy theories. But I'm getting a sense that when a case goes to court, there are people that you almost know that they will lose the case. When former public protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane goes to court, you almost know, almost guaranteed she will lose the case. Same thing with former President Jacob Zuma. Almost guaranteed he will lose the case. MK Party, I am expecting them to lose the case. But if the current president goes to court, I am expecting him to win the case. So where does that come from? Is that just me, or you are also of that view? And if you are also of that view, where does that come from? Is it because our courts are biased? That's one choice that we have. Another choice is, are the people that we are expecting to lose cases taking cases that have no prospect of success to court? So their arguments are weak when they take cases to court. Which is which? And maybe people like President Ramaphosa, when they go to court, they know that they are taking cases that are strong. Even if a person like President Ramaphosa loses at a lower court, when he takes it to a higher court, chances are he's going to win it. But the other guys, if they lose at a lower court, the likes of Busisiwe Mkhwebane, President Zuma, if they lose at the lower court, they take it to a higher court, they will still lose. So where does that come from? That's just me. I don't know what your thoughts are. So please go ahead and share your thoughts on the comment section. Is my my reading of this situation true, or nah, I'm reading too much into it? Please do share on the comment section. Another story that I would like to look at is the one of Cassper Nyovest. Cassper Nyovest, we all know Cassper Nyovest, popular rapper. He does music on another level. Had a huge beef with the late AKA. But this week, Cassper Nyovest trended because Ntobeko Khuluse, who's the mother of Cassper Nyovest's son, Khuto, took to social media to share how challenging the past few years have been for her, and also revealed some of the hardships she faced with her son's health in relation to, as well as the relationship with Cassper Nyovest. So Ntobeko went on Twitter, and I'm going to quote this, in fact on Instagram, and she said, "At 8 months, my son was diagnosed with cancer. An entire different world I always stood on protection and privacy, trying to maintain the world, and my world was a marathon on its own. I lived in an oncology hospital for 2 years with my son as he underwent chemotherapy and life-threatening surgeries. In the depth of fighting cancer, I was hit with a curveball of infidelity. The woman knew me, my son's condition, and made no mistake with flaunting their relationship. After finding out, he ended it with her and tried to make amends with me. I couldn't trust someone who can hurt me at my lowest and allow another woman to disrespect his woman. That's what Ntobeko Khuluse said on Instagram, talking about her relationship with Cassper Nyovest and how her son suffered. So basically, besingale ngathi ingane yabo igula iphethwe umdlavuza. uCassper Nyovest wamshiya wajola nomunye umuntu. Yena wabehleli ekhulisa ingane yabo egulayo. So Cassper Nyovest admitted and he apologized. He said, I've decided to tell my side of the story. I would like to confirm that everything my baby mama said about me is true. I've gone on a couple of podcasts to share the type of life I was living, the mistakes that I did, but also the type of hurt that I caused to a lot of people. I left out details like my son's cancer because I had agreed with her that she wouldn't share that part. I wanted to take accountability for my part and say that that is the truth about the person that I was. It is something that I'm not proud of. It's something that I had to grow from and forgive myself for, end quote. That's what Cassper Nyovest said. Basically, he's admitting everything, but choice of words there. He said, the person that I was. So he's basically saying, I'm not that person anymore. I have changed. I'm better. But he is admitting to his wrong for leaving, Ntobeko as well as their young son. I don't know what you make of that story. It's a big story. A lot of people were talking about it on social media. Please feel free to go on the comment section and share your thoughts and views. But I found the story to be interesting, and knowing, the world that we live in and absent fathers, it makes it even worse when a child is sick and you leave the child with the mother, and you find somebody else and you flaunt the relationship. But I don't think it's for me. Cassper Nyovest. I don't know what your thoughts are, but please do feel free to go on our comment section to share your thoughts. Just the last story that I would like to look at. Seems like we are doing this far too many often, where we say rest in peace. Yet again this week, we saw the now late Solimkhulu. Solimkhulu, a legend. His real name is Solomon Malakwane. A legend in the gospel music industry, someone that sang in a language that I can't speak, but I've always known Solimkhulu. I've always known Solimkhulu's music because that's how talented he is. Wonke umuntu noma kuthiwa language awuyizwa, but umculo wakhe ubuzwa ukuthi umnandi and ubuzwe ucule as well. So he's an absolute legend. His music speaks to everyone that loves good music, that loves gospel music, and also his Mukoko dance. Who can forget his Mukoko dance? So may his soul rest in peace, and we'll definitely miss him and to see him perform, but his music lives on, and we'll definitely continue to enjoy his music that he has left us with. That brings us to an end of this week's installment of Layman's View. I am Ntobeko Khuluse. Thank you so much for watching. Please do catch me tomorrow with my partner in crime, Dogozo Chapa, where we'll be having yet another great guest who is a radio person right here on Podcast Radio and Stuff. We'll be dropping a brand new episode at 9 a.m. Please do remember to comment on all the stories that we've shared with you today. Share this page, like this video, and also join as a member and contribute only 10 rands. If you join as a member, you contribute 9 rands 99 cents to make sure that this podcast continues and we are able to have all the resources that we need to continue giving you quality content. I'm Ntobeko Khuluse, signing out.